Hi everyone, my name is Sankey and today I'm going to be giving you a tip in cross position for the 5 chord. And it's all about a note which I think is overlooked and you don't hear many people using it, and that is the draw 2 half step bend. So normally on a 5 chord in cross position, the typical turnaround, the typical way of playing the 5 chord and the 4 chord is to really play off the root notes, okay? So that will be on the 5 chord, the draw 1 or the draw 4 typically, okay? So it would sound something like this. And then you would go to the blow 1 or the blow 4. So it would sound something like this. Okay, so typically, now after a while, as cool as that move is, it gets a bit predictable. And so we look for variations of different ways we can play out of the chord changes. And this is something a lot of harp players are not very good at. And so some variations you'll hear might be the draw 3 whole step bend, that kind of Sonny Boy Williamson thing. Okay, so that one. And you'll hear people play the draw 6, which is the same note but an octave above. Okay, so what I want to introduce here is another note, which is the draw 2 half step bend. Now that note on the 5 chord, when you hit the 5 chord, is the equivalent of the major third of that chord change. And the major third is a note that we use a lot on the 1 chord. And if you come up from the half step bend, it's a very common riff that you use, you know, or so that interval. It's almost trying to do that on the 5 chord, which you don't hear that many people doing. So let me give you a couple of cycles of what I'm talking about and then I'll come back and break it down, okay? So it's pretty simple. So it sounds like this. Okay, so the note in question is this. So that is the draw 2 half step bend. Now, for beginners and intermediate players, this might be a note initially, because you don't use it that much, you'll struggle to hit, which is why it's great practice. And for advanced players who can hit their bends with control, this might give you a new way of playing out of the 5 chord, all right? That's the aim here, but I think it's a really cool thing to do, and as I said, you don't hear many people do it. So for a couple of the riffs that I was using, this one, I'm going draw 1, draw 2, whole step bend, and then I'm coming up that half step, and you can really play with that. But the key thing, as with all bends, is to hit them accurately. So that first draw 2 whole step bend, you want all the way down. So it's the minor third of the 5 chord in this case. Normally it's the dominant 7th of the 1 chord. And then up a semitone, so it's the major third of the 5 chord. Okay, and it's a kind of cheeky sound. So you can pivot on that, you can roll it, okay? Or you can come up from the draw 1, blow 2, draw 2 half step bend, draw 2 whole step bend, draw 2 half step bend. Okay, so it's a really cool little thing to do. Now taking it a bit further, what we're obviously looking to do is to play whole scales out of the chord changes, and that's when you're really cooking with gas. So using this as a springboard, I'll play you a little riff, which again is sort of nice to explore. So. Okay, so the riff on the 5 chord and that you're properly playing out of the 5 chord. You're in 3rd position, but you're playing major. Okay, so you're playing out of the changes if you throw that one into a turnaround, okay? And it just adds a bit more colour. So what are the notes there? What am I doing that on that scale? I'm starting on the draw 2, whole step bend. I'm going then up to that half step bend on the draw 2. Then I'm going draw 3, whole step bend, draw 3, no bend, and on to the 4, okay? Okay? So you can play around with it. You can then go either up to the draw 5, which gives it the blue note on that 5 chord, or onto the draw 3, no step bend, no bend. So you can play around with it, right? So it's like playing 3rd position, but you're just doing it for 1 bar, i.e. 4 beats on the turnaround, and this will really extend the sound and interest that you can get in your playing, rather than simply playing the root note of the 5 chord and the root note of the 4 chord, all right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that gives you a new avenue to go down, especially on that draw 2 half step bend, which is a kind of overlooked note. Thank you very much, and once again, thank you for your interest and all the comments and views on my channel. Really appreciate it. Thank you.